Hi guys, and welcome to the TruGolf Academy. You've joined me, Jon Watts, and today I'm in my swing studio at Drayton Park. And I'm going to do a pitching video today. I've done a couple recently, but I thought it'd be really good for you guys to see the data by coming inside my swing studio here. So what I'm going to be able to show you from my launch monitor, the GC2, is everything to do with the golf ball. So what we're really interested in for pitching is the launch angle, the ball speed, the angle the ball's coming into the ground, that's the descent angle, the carry distance, and the amount of spin. What I'm looking at with my HMT, which is my head measurement device, is really the angle of attack, the strike location, and the amount of dynamic loft on the golf club. So what I want to do this video on is how we can create more stopping power. Most people are thinking about spin rate there, and really when we're talking about spin rate, to increase that, we're either having to generate more speed, or we're trying to increase the gap between the loft on the golf club at impact, so the dynamic loft, and the angle of attack. So the bigger gap between them, the more spin we can generate. I'm going to show you how we can actually do that, stop the ball quicker from more launch angle and the angle the ball's coming into the ground at. I think there's some real myths out there that hitting down on the golf ball is going to create more spin, and that's just not the case. So I've already hit just a bog standard shot. I'm just trying to hit a 40-yard pitch, and I hit it about that. It flew 38 yards. I'm using a 58-degree wedge. So that ball, my club speed was traveling at 51. My ball was coming off slower. Interesting, it does happen when we're pitching on slow swings. Definitely happens in bunker play. The ball's traveling slower than the club. Normally it's the other way around with our irons and our woods. So the ball was traveling at 45. I got a launch angle at 41.5 degrees. And the ball flew about 40 yards. So my ball speed, my launch angle, and my carry distance are all about the same, which means I'm not creating too much shaft lean here through impact. I wasn't really trying to flatten out. I was just trying to hit a bog standard shot for you. I got, as I said, a launch angle at 41, a spin rate at just under 3,900 revolutions per minute. I was hitting down on the golf ball by 4.5 degrees, and at impact what that meant is I had 53.5 degrees of loft on the golf club. So I delofted my 58 degree by 4.5 degrees. Okay, so I had delofted a little bit, which will happen. So what I want to talk about today is how we can control the width of our arc. That's having an effect on our low point in the swing and the amount of loft therefore on the golf club. So what I really want golfers to try and do when the lie's okay is take the hands out of it and create a much wider swing. We see that with a lot of really good wedge players. Steve Stricker, we see that with, name's gone from my head, it will come to me in a second. Zach Johnson, very, very wide swings, not a lot of wrist cock. On those short pitch shots, and they're great at control around the green. The only times we really want to see this steeper, this earlier wrist cock, is when it's a bare, tight lie, or when the ball's sitting down in the rough. It's more, if I do create that sort of V-shaped swing, as I say, it's more vital that my contact is perfect. Whereas with a wide swing, my low point is for much longer. So actually I can get away with striking the ground before the ball, which is what really all good pitchers are doing, is they're getting the turf and the ball. We're not squeezing the ball from the turf and hitting these low checky ones. We're trying to use the loft. We're trying to use the bounce on the golf club. So what I'm going to try and do is hit another sort of 40-ish yard shot, same wedge I've got here, but I'm really trying to feel a very wide swing, really controlled by my chest, not my hands. That felt pretty solid. It'd be interesting to see that one. It was a little bit shorter on carry distance. The speed, because it's not coming from hands, actually it was the same speed. It just flew a little bit higher, therefore didn't go as far. So I'd actually have to make a slightly longer swing or turn my chest a little bit quicker, because the club head speed was similar, but the ball was traveling even slower. What I managed to do on that one, and as I said, you'll see the data as well here, is the launch angle increased by around 3 degrees. And it did that because the dynamic loft on my golf club at impact was 57 degrees as opposed to 53.5. So I didn't de-loft the golf club as much. My spin rate stayed pretty similar. It was actually a fraction lower. But my launch angle increased, and that meant the ball was coming into the ground at 49 degrees rather than 47 degrees. That's how we can create that real control, that stopping power that we're looking for. The only way I can increase that further is by increasing speed, increasing loft. So if I just do exactly the same thing and hit it harder, the ball's going to go further. I may produce more speed, more spin because I'm generating more speed, but what I really need to try and do to hit the ball the same distance is increase the loft. So actually what I'm going to do on this one, just for one more, is open the club face, but I'm still going to try and make the same swing. So I'm still trying to feel a very wide body controlled swing because I don't want to hit down on that golf ball anymore. So I'm going to increase the loft, but still swing nice and wide. Now what I'd have to do, because these are feeling pretty similar speeds as you'll see, that was a little bit quicker, but the ball's travelling less distance because there is more loft, the energy's going upwards. So what I'd need would be a longer swing. But what I managed to do on that one was increase the launch angle to 49 degrees, so it's increased each time you'll see on the screen. That meant the ball was coming into the ground at 53 degrees. My spin rate, you'll see, hasn't really changed. It's really down to changing the launch angle and the angle the ball's coming into the ground at. On those last 2 shots, I was hitting down on the ball by 3 degrees. On that last one, 2.7 instead of 4.5 degrees. So with this wider swing, I'm not hitting down on the golf ball as much. I'm creating more dynamic loft at impact. I'm getting a higher launch angle. But my spin rate is actually weirdly staying pretty similar. It's only going to start to increase a lot as I start to generate more speed. Okay? I hope that video's helped. I know it is a bit techie, but it's really good to see the data on this, that if we can control the low point in our swing, if we can create this dead hand shot, we can really start to control the distance the ball goes, the trajectory the ball flies on a lot better. Only start to think about this early wrist cock, this more up and down swing when the lie isn't good enough. I hope that video has helped, as I said. If it has, please post some comments below. Do check out the channel for plenty of other content on Monday, Wednesday and Friday, and we'll see you soon. Thanks, guys.